Hello, yeah, in this video, I want to show you how to clone a data set in R, okay? And you'll see what it means by clone a data set, okay? And the R package we need is called the synthpop, okay? The synthetic population package. If you don't have it in your R Studio, you can install the package. So then you can load the library. And let's use the built-in Aries dataset in R as an example. So load that in and take a look at the structure of the dataset. There are 5 variables, 4 numerical ones and 1 factor. Okay, 150 observations. So to generate a synthetic clone of the Aries dataset, we simply just use the function syn. So the syntax is very simple. Synthetic underscore data is the object from syn Aries. And we can print that out. Okay, so this is like a cloned copy of the original Aries dataset, and you may ask what's so special about this cloned dataset. Okay, let's take a look at the summary. You can see this is a summary of the Aries dataset with the 5 variables: the minimum, the first quartile, median, mean, third quartile, and the maximum. Okay, so let's take a look at the synthetic dataset one. You can see the 7-point statistics about the distribution of each variable. They're almost like identical, right? So not very far away. For example, the sample dot length, the minimum of the original dataset is 4.3. In the synthetic dataset is 4.4. And then the next one is first quartile 5.1. In the original dataset, in the synthetic dataset, it's 5.125, etc., etc. So they're not very different. Okay, so there's a little bit of variation, but not very different. And we can take a look at the distributions of a specific variable, for example, sample.length. Separate the window into 1 row, 2 columns, and let's take a look at the original dataset histogram for this variable. And this is the histogram of this variable in the synthetic dataset. So quite similar here. Okay. So basically what this means is the cloned dataset maintains statistic properties of the original dataset. What this means is that the synthetic data replicates key patterns, relationships, and distributions found in the original dataset without copying individual level data point. So the specific value of the data set are not the same, but many statistic properties are maintained. For example, the marginal distribution, the synthetic data set preserves the overall distribution of individual variables. For example, if a variable in the original data is normally distributed, the corresponding variable in the synthetic data set will also follow a similar normal distribution. Okay. And correlations. So you have 2 variables. The relation between variables such as correlation are retained. For example, if 2 variables are positively correlated in the original data set, then they will have a similar positive correlation in the synthetic data set. And also conditional relationship. Patterns that exist between variables given certain conditions are preserved. For example, if y increases when x is high in the original data set, this trend will also be reflected in the synthetic data set. Okay? And then also multivariate structure. The synthetic data maintains higher order interactions and dependencies among multiple variables, preserving the overall structure of the data. Also, summary statistics, means, median, standard deviations, and other descriptive statistics of variables in the original data set are closely mirrored in the synthetic data set. So this really, the synthetic data is really a good clone of the original data set. Okay, so just want to show you this function or this package for creating a cloned copy of the original data set. I think it's very useful if you cannot really share the original data set, but you want someone to work on a very similar data set. You can create a copy of your original, a cloned copy of your original data set, and let the other person working on the cloned data set. And this cloned data set has maintained many statistical properties of the data. So if the other person does statistical analysis and write R codes, it's very likely the R codes that person wrote will be useful for analyzing the original data set. Okay. And also, if you are an instructor, you want to write exams or take home homework assignments, you can have one data set where you can generate different cloned copies so that you will never run out of data sets for a student to use. And also I'm thinking maybe that need to be worked on, I think, is to really promote the use of the synthetic data set generation to address some of the data confidentiality issue, because if there's a data set under, say, HIPAA regulation, you cannot really let anyone access to the individual data points. But what if you can generate like a cloned copy, which are not exactly the same value of the data set, and you can let the other person working on this cloned data set. There may be still some concerns, but well, that's, maybe something we can work on. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you have fun cloning data sets.